Germany.
The difficulty, of course, Andrew Denison, is that this country is profoundly sensitive on all issues having to do with war and the military for very understandable historic reasons. Would you say that military normalization here in Germany has now come far enough that the country is politically as well as militarily capable of fighting a combat mission in a country like Afghanistan?
Well, it's got to get there as soon as possible. And I think you can talk about the historical sensitivity of Germans. Nevertheless, it seems like they're putting their head in the sand right now. And history has many lessons to offer, and sometimes those lessons change with time. And it would seem to me that Germany now, at this moment, with a new government and a new Europe and a new American partner, needs to undertake a fundamental reassessment of its commitment to Afghanistan as a major portion of its policy of sustainable globalization. Germany benefits from a world that is at peace, that is free, and that is wealthy. And Afghanistan, Pakistan, that part of the world is a big threat to that objective. And I would very much welcome it, not to always use the Americans as our yardstick, but I would welcome it if the Chancellor of Germany devoted as much attention to Afghanistan over a month that Obama did over 3 months. Really getting to the bottom. This country needs a fundamental reassessment of what it wants to achieve with its NATO partners and its European partners. One of the things it needs to come to grips with is that Germany has for the last 10, if not 20 years said, you can't go into Afghanistan and shoot up the village and think you've solved the problem. There's no military solution to this. We need a political solution. We need development, reconstruction, all that made Europe great after World War II. There's a general that was interviewed in the Tagesspiegel a couple of weeks ago, General Glatz. He says, and I quote, respected figures say 20% military, 80% civilian. Germany has 4,500 soldiers in northern Afghanistan. It doesn't have a tenth of that, 450 diplomats and development workers. Germany, I think, needs to double the number of peace forces in Afghanistan to 10,000. At this point, with the American surge, to follow up on the American surge, the mix of soldiers, development workers, diplomats, police trainers, and teachers, I would love to see Germany come up with another mix than the current situation, all Bundeswehr, no civil help.
Okay, now policy in Afghanistan.
Andrew Denison, what kind of willingness is there among the German public to make that kind of a commitment to Afghanistan?
Right now, there is very little willingness in the German public to make a commitment to Afghanistan. Even though they love Obama, 90% of the Germans say they approve of him, 90% of the Germans do not want to increase troops in Afghanistan. However, I believe Germany has not seriously talked about why it's so important for Germany to put more on the table in Afghanistan. The average German spends about 400 euros a year for defense. The average American spends about 1,400 euros a year. So there's a difference. Germany could do a little more. Now, there is a discussion of whether the war is winnable in Afghanistan. And one of the points that often comes up is that there is no partner. There is no governing capacity on the ground, and therefore we can't win. For me, counterinsurgency is all about building that governing capacity where it doesn't exist, and therefore they need help to build government in Afghanistan.
And I think we will have ample opportunity to discuss that issue in the coming year. Thank you very much to all of you for being with us today, and thanks to all of you out there for tuning in.